Right now on The Cut, big bank collapse. We just witnessed one of the largest bank failures since 2008. The Silicon Valley Bank collapse that had regulators stepping in. We have the latest on what happens next.
Plus, are you ready for it? Taylor Swift is coming to Glendale this week. Or should we say Swift City? We explain coming up.
Plus, Hollywood's most influential night wrapped up the award season. We will have a full report on the winners and losers of this year's Oscars show and the show of diversity. The Cut begins right now.
Welcome to the Cut Network. I'm Leslie Chapman.
And I'm Denson Cortez. A follow-up to a story that had many in the tech sector worried this week when the Silicon Valley Bank failed. The bank is the 16th largest in the world. The bank collapsed last week and was taken over by the FDIC after a run on the bank Wednesday. SVB, as it is known, was the go-to bank for U.S. tech startups and left a lot of customers and investors in limbo. This is the largest failure of a U.S. bank since the year 2008, when Washington Mutual collapsed. Joe Biden issued a statement Sunday on his administration's action to protect depositors at both banks, expressing his approval for the actions, but stressing he will hold those responsible for this mess accountable for their actions.
The president also issued another statement for a massive new oil drilling project in Alaska. This is known as the Willow Project. This announcement came a day after the administration said it was blocking or limiting drilling elsewhere in the state. The Willow Project's approval will allow energy firm ConocoPhillips to move forward with its plan to drill in the National Petroleum Reserve. The company says the project has the potential to drill up to 180,000 barrels of oil per day. Proponents have suggested that the project will lower oil prices and bolster national security, but it also concerned environmental advocates who called the project, quote, a carbon bomb, arguing it could worsen climate change, harm biodiversity, and slow a transition to cleaner fuels.
As we come back from spring break and get ready to return to our books, the state of Arizona may not be joining us. The Arizona State Senate announced their approval for the Republican-backed SB 1700, a very controversial book ban that prohibits specific content surrounding gender fluidity, gender pronouns, and more in books. Cover reporter Carly Poyer is here to give us more information on the controversy and what this means for Arizona schools. Carly?
Thanks, Denson. This is a big story we're following. The Arizona State Senate gave their preliminary approval of the controversial book banning bill SB 1700 last Thursday. The proposed bill would require the Arizona Department of Education to create and maintain a list of books prohibited to be used in K-12 public educational institutions. These prohibited books would contain lewd or sexual behavior, promote gender fluidity or gender pronouns, or groom children into normalizing pedophilia. SB 1700 also would allow parents to request that their child's school district, charter school library, or any classroom materials they believe fall under the bill's criteria be removed. Current library materials and district textbooks would need to be publicly reviewed and possibly removed. This would include book exceptions/requirements already approved for the district curriculum and school library. Among those who oppose the Republican-backed bill are several Democratic senators, LGBTQ activists, and even some Arizona teachers. Their concerns range from who the bill is targeting/protecting, specifically only public school students, the equating of gender fluidity and pronouns to pedophilia within the bill, too much government within school/day-to-day life, and exacerbating Arizona's teacher shortage by adding the pressure of a Class 5 felony if a public school employee violates SB 1700. Those who are in favor of the bill cite SB 1700's main purpose is to protect the innocence of impressionable children while they're still young. Having earned the preliminary approval, SB 1700 is waiting for the Arizona House of Representatives to vote before it makes it to Governor Katie Hobbs, who is expected to veto the bill. For the Cut Network, I'm Carly Poyer.
Thank you, Carly. We will keep you updated as the bill makes its way through the House of Representatives.
Turning now to politics, where senators are sending well wishes to Mitch McConnell. This comes after the Republican leader fell down a flight of hotel stairs and was hospitalized. The senator was released after a weekend stay at the hospital. Cut reporter Sarah Musingai is here to give us an update on Mitch McConnell and when he could be expected back on the Senate floor.
Thanks, Leslie. In short, it could be a while. Mitch McConnell has been released from the hospital after a fall that had members of both parties concerned for the senator's health. This was first reported on Wednesday when the senator was taken to the hospital. From a private dinner, this happened at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Washington, D.C., formerly known as the Trump International Hotel. McConnell was admitted for a concussion he suffered from the fall. McConnell remained at the hospital overnight and was released on Monday. During his stay, doctors found out McConnell suffered a minor rib injury, which doctors also treated. McConnell is not out of the woods yet. He is still going to remain in rehab, according to his doctors. This is not something new for McConnell. He has experienced something like this in 2019. McConnell fractured his shoulder at his Kentucky home. This term has been tough on the health of senators. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is seeking treatment for clinical depression, and California Senator Dianne Feinstein was also hospitalized in recent weeks for treatment of shingles. It is important to note that the average age of senators for this term is 64. For The Cut Network, I'm Sarah Musingai.
Thank you, Sarah. We will keep you posted as Mitch McConnell continues his recovery.
Spring break is near for many college students, but Texas officials are taking one spot of the list for many. Texas authorities are urging residents not to visit Mexico over spring break, as drug cartel violence and other crime pose a significant safety threat. U.S. citizens who decide to go to Mexico are encouraged to register with any embassy or consult before they go. According to the Texas Department of Public Safety, this advisory comes after 4 Americans were kidnapped earlier this month. The Mexican city of Matamoros. The Americans were reportedly visiting for medical tourism when they were caught in the crossfire between rival cartel groups and abducted. 2 were returned, and for the others, 2 were presumed dead.
8 people were found dead last weekend after a boat overturned in San Diego. According to the Mexican Consulate General, 7 of them were Mexican nationals, based on the identifications they carried. Their deaths are believed to be related to the capsized boat authorities discovered near a city neighborhood. Local authorities received a 911 call around 11:30 p.m. Saturday night, indicating that a boat carrying 8 passengers overturned and there were victims in the water. Initial search attempts were hampered by high tides and weather conditions. After 6 hours of search and recovery efforts, authorities said they found 8 deceased victims and 2 small overturned fishing boats. No survivors were found during the search.
Turning now to entertainment, Sunday night was one of the most influential nights in Hollywood, the Oscars, and it was the 95th one no less. Cover reporter Alana Goodman is here to break down the night's biggest winners, and Alana, it was a big night for diversity.
That's correct. One of the biggest winners of the night, Everything Everywhere All at Once, made history. Lead actress Michelle Yeoh won her first Oscar as the first Asian woman ever in history in that category. The film won 7 awards on the night, including Best Picture, Best Original Score, Best Costume Design, and Best Director. One of the most viral moments of the night when Ke Huy Quan won Best Supporting Actor for his role, and get this, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And the Oscar goes to
Ke Huy Quan.
Ke Huy Quan made his big screen debut in...
They say stories like this only happen in the movies. I cannot believe it's happening to me. This is the American dream.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was not the only big winner. Brendan Fraser won Best Actor as his lead role in The Whale, Naatu by RRR, which won Best Original Song and even received a standing ovation for India. Lady Gaga and Rihanna also made a top appearance in the 95th Oscars. The song Hold My Hand was in the movie Top Gun Maverick, performed by Gaga, as well as Rihanna's hit Lift Me Up, which was featured in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Fashion from Versace, Vera Wang, Dior, and Dolce & Gabbana were featured in Hollywood on Sunday. Jimmy Kimmel hosted, and he may have been one of the highlights of the night.
It was some year for diversity and inclusion. We have nominees from every corner of Dublin. 5 Irish actors are nominated tonight, which means the odds of another fight on stage just went way up.
This wraps up the award season for Hollywood. For the Cut Network, I'm Alana Goodman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Alana. This year's Oscars was certainly a night to remember.
With St. Patrick's Day just a couple of days away, Phoenix is getting ready to host a St. Patrick's Day festival with plenty of festivities for attendees. Cut reporter Alexandra Zerborg brings us the piece.
On March 11th, the St. Patrick's Day Parade hosted its 40th annual parade in Phoenix. There were lots of cars, dogs, and of course, bagpipes.
So the Phoenix St. Patrick's Day Parade and Fair serves as a place for the local Irish to come and gather, and those who want to be Irish to come and partake in a little bit of Irish here in Arizona.
The parade started at Oak Street and headed south on 3rd Street to the Irish Fair at Margaret T. Hance Park.
We missed 2 years with COVID, but this is our 40th year as a committee, and so this is our 40th parade. We're saying it's our 40th parade. And we've got longevity, we've got tradition, we've got Irish culture, we've got the Blarney, we've got everything you could want for your family to come out and just celebrate the greenest day in the desert.
Along with the yearly parade comes the tradition of picking a Grand Marshal. This year, U.S. ice hockey Olympian Lindsey Fry was lucky enough to get that title.
Look how fun it is. Like, I got my whole family here. They're dressed up, they're ready to rock, and I think it's just cool to see a culture of people come together and celebrate. And we are far away from Ireland, but the spirit is here in Phoenix, Arizona.
For the Cut Network, I'm Alexandra Zerborg reporting.
Thanks, Alexandra, for that report. If you're living in Glendale, Arizona, you might want to change your important documents to Swift City. That's because it's the new name for Glendale, just for a couple of days. For a brief moment in time, the city of Glendale, Arizona will be known as Swift City in celebration of their overlord, Taylor Swift, launching her Eras Tour at State Farm Stadium this weekend. Swift has 2 sold-out performances on Friday and Saturday, March 17th and the 18th. It's a great day to be a Sun Devil as the men's basketball team has made it into the March Madness tournament, taking the 11th seed in the Western region. It is the culmination of another successful season for the Sun Devils, having finished with a 22-12 record.
The organization finished the season tied for its most wins in the Coach Hurley era, including 12 away from home. It is the 17th time the program has made it to the finale of the men's college basketball season and the 3rd under Hurley. Arizona State will play the Nevada Wolfpack in the first 4, the opening round of the NCAA tournament.
Thanks for joining us on The Cut this week. Be sure to follow us on social media at The Cut Network on Instagram.
And also at @TheCut_ASU on Twitter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Denzen Cortez.
And I'm Leslie Chapman. Have a good night.